Welcome to Living with Simplicity. I'm Samantha Nolan-Smith. The video you're about to watch is extracted from my workshop, Why Can't I Stop?, which you can find on samanthanolan-smith.com. I wanted to separate this section out from the workshop itself because I felt that the teachings were really important and I didn't want them to get lost in amongst everything else that's going on in that workshop. I hope you find this a really useful resource in your life. Staying present is as simple as noticing if you're here or if you're in your head talking to yourself. Practice on a girlfriend when you're out for coffee. You don't have to tell her, but you could even say to her, look, I'm really trying to practice this presence thing. So if you, for one, see me start to go off, and people see it because people get a glazed over look in their eyes, and you can tell when you're sitting with someone if they're present or not. And you're like, hi, come back, come back. You can use a girlfriend in that way. And what you want to be doing is when you're sitting talking to her, you want to be fully engaged in what she's saying. Sitting comfortably, listening. When there's natural pause in the conversation, then allowing yourself to speak. This is the opposite of sitting across from somebody and they're talking and you're in your mind already creating a response or deciding why that's not right or it is right or da-da-da-da-da, and then talking over the top of them. Or just waiting for them to take a breath so you can jump in. Sitting, being still, fully listening. If you don't have that opportunity to be with a friend, just start with your breath. The breath is the tool that we carry everywhere, which grounds us, which brings us into the present moment. If you feel yourself off and around and not grounded and not, a bit scatty, just stop for a minute and come back to the breath. Just to observe the breath. When I first started attending yoga classes, the teacher would say, watch the breath, and I'd instantly try and change it into a really deep breath because I think that's a yogic breath, to be really deep and really breathe into the belly and so forth. And I was totally missing the point, which was to just come into the practice of observing the breath. I was so busy trying to do it right that I just wasn't with myself. So just sit quietly. You can do this absolutely anywhere and just watch the breath. That will bring you back to the present moment. There's one final tool that I want to share with you. It's the watching the body when it moves into that tendency to push. So for me, this looks like I have an idea of what I want to achieve that day. And I'm working through it. And then it comes to lunchtime and I'm kind of absorbed in what I'm doing. And I'm like, and I'm noticing the time and I'm thinking, okay, a few hours I have to pick up my daughter. And the mind's going, can we fit all this in? Can we fit all this in? And the body, the tendency is then to push through, to not take the time to have a proper lunch, to just keep working. And there's an energetic to it that keep going, must happen. When I feel this happening, when I notice that I'm in that space, I know for certain that if I keep going, maybe not today, but soon enough, I would crash. So being aware of that behavioral pattern and noticing when you do come to notice that energetic push, choosing to take the time to stop. It's taking the time to stop that will reconnect you with your body. It will reconnect you with what's really going on. Is there a fear here? Is there some desire to control? Is there some fantasy of getting it all done that I'm buying into? Have I set unrealistic deadlines? Something that everybody in the world pretty much does, as far as I can tell. And then I can deal with that. If it's something that's really triggered, then I need to sit down, do some alignment work and really get clear. Or I could, if it's not a real trigger for me, I can just go, oh, there's an old story, and let it go. And I can come back to the present. I can choose to take the time to nourish my body, and then I can continue on my day.